I know many of you are going to be disappointed not to get to see me appear on the stage for much longer today, but there's tomorrow, so settle. I would like to bring Richard Bagnall, our chair and the co-managing partner of CARMA, on stage. This is my maniacal way of making sure that the chair pays attention all day in the sessions, is that he has to give the summary and the highlights that he got from everything. You know, a little payback is good for everything. So with that, I want to turn the time over to you, Richard.
You bet. Thank you, Jonna. Thank you to all of our speakers. At the beginning of the day, I told you we were back, and boy, are we back. What a great day, I think, today has been. The energy, the information that's been shared have been really powerful and has been hugely appreciated. And so to all the speakers who are still in the room, thank you very, very much. Try and summarize a day like that in under 10 minutes is a challenge. But I thought probably just to pick out a few key moments from some of the different speakers. Remember, we began with on Omnicom. I keep wanting to call it Omicron, unfortunately, but Omnicom's global boss and great friend of AMEC, Chris Foster, who was talking to us about how data analytics is changing the practice for PR. And I thought Chris made some absolutely gold dust points, and I made a note to myself to make sure that's the first thing I'm going to do is watch that back when the videos become available. Chris talked about how data has changed the game for PR and comms. I think he's absolutely right. He talked about how we need to remember what clients want, that clients aren't looking for measurement. We shouldn't allow it to be compartmentalized and siloed off like that. They're looking for solutions to problems. And he reminded us to have the confidence that we've never had an opportunity like we do today. He talked about reputation and relationships, and that you can't buy either, and that PR and comms own both of those. He talked about the coming trends, and I've been talking with colleagues about this today, about marketing transformation and how these things are all starting to integrate and to unify, but that data is the glue that holds all of this together. He talked about the future being about multi-diverse, tech-enabled teams who are going to solve organizational and not just comms problems. He talked about the skills that he looks for in his colleagues that he wants to bring into the business, and he listed 6 or 7 different skills. He wants people to have curiosity and imagination. He wants them to be data literate. He wants them to be not afraid of tech, have great data visualization skills, to be confident consultants, and to be expert storytellers. And I think that's one of the challenges we have as a measurement profession, is to help our clients to tell a meaningful measurement story. You need to be able to take the tech and tell a meaningful measurement story. And I thought those skills, as well as applying to the people that Chris wants to bring in, they apply to the people that we're looking for within our industry as well. It was an absolutely fantastic start to the day, and we're so grateful to Chris for making himself available. We had Philip Bodzenta from Coke and Florian from Observer. Thank you to both of them for a great chat. And we had a massive challenge from Coke to recycle all waste by 2030. And Philip reminded us that any big goal, you've got to start with a small step. Any big journey, how do you start? Well, you start with a small step. He reminded us the importance to keep it simple, to keep stuff easy to use. And he talked about the importance of benchmarking as well. If you're going to go on a journey, you've got to know where you're coming from to know how you're progressing. And of course, we saw beautiful examples of integrating the media intelligence of Observer with the outcomes from the market research as well, in terms of how they're doing, and a tailored use of the integrated evaluation framework. Our first real mention of the framework today. I think it's been a day where the framework has really come to light. So I thought that was a lovely talk, and thank you, Florian, for bringing your clients along and for your contribution to that talk. And then we had such an engaging talk from our Tech Hub, and Sophia and Johnny and Todd, thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for the bravery to do that research. Thank you for not trying to mask any of it. I know how much everybody enjoyed the show. It was a show, wasn't it? As we looked at what real insights are when you do proper research, the gap between the perceived solutions and what the target audience actually wants. And it reminds us of the importance of really understanding what our audiences, what our clients actually want. And it reminded us of the importance of research, benchmarking, and listening. And I was thinking to myself, well, these are all things that actually there are skills that we're offering to clients to do those things. So let's make sure we do them properly. And I love Johnny's quote when he said, "Your services need to give me solutions. It might be hard, but that doesn't mean it's not important." And I think the world for us as we collect data is going to get harder. But it's important, and so we're going to have to make sure we have an appropriate solution to those challenges. And he said that for him, always, data accuracy is going to be greater and better than the bells, whistles, and features of tools. And I think that's a lesson that we can all remember. We had Marita from Novartis next, talking about their analytics program and their strategic planning, and I thought she gave us a couple of lovely nuggets and threw out some challenges as well. From a nugget point of view, she said that trust drives reputation, and reputation drives organizational performance. We heard from Chris about how PR owns those things, and of course, we own the measurement and the evaluation of them. So something to really give us some confidence. I loved her expression about moving from vanity data to value data. I thought that's one that we can all remember. Some of the challenges that she has, which I know all of us are helping our clients with. How do you split proactive PR performance from general content? How can you isolate them and look at the effect of each? Which content has a lasting impact? Which does not? Do we know the answer to that? How can she show ROI and correlate comms performance with business performance? And I thought, well, I know the answer to that. Framework, anyone? So I was absolutely delighted that coming next was Raina DeLange, who talked to us about the IEF tutorial asset. And just a reminder on that, that's going to be launching in June. Thank you on my behalf to the fantastic team, all the different AMEC members that's helped create it. It's going to be a free asset for AMEC members, and it's going to begin just in English, but it will end up in multiple languages. So then it was lunch, and then the mighty Claire. I'm not sure, Claire is still here, and Claire's not on Twitter, so I don't know if she saw all the great things that were written about her and her talk. But what a great talk, Claire. Thank you so much. At AMEC, we always appreciate the support of the UK government and the leadership that you guys take. I know Claire very well. I'm honoured to sit on the Cabinet Office Evaluation Council, and so I've known Claire for a number of years. And Claire is one of the UK's unsung heroes. She works incredibly hard. She puts up with a lot of pressure, and she goes to work every day through the pandemic. When we all had our own fears, she went and actually worked for all of our benefit. And you know, we've had references to Boris Johnson today, and we all know the headlines that he's generated today. And I'd just remind everybody that the work of a government communicator is totally separate from the performance and the behaviour of a Prime Minister or the party in power. And I think the work that the UK government did was exemplary. It's the ultimate outcome, isn't it? Is the work that you do, you know, is saving lives. And Claire talked to us about her massive, complex programme with 27 different campaigns. And I think there was some lovely terminology that Claire used in there. She talked about plan, implement, evaluate, report, those 4 steps of that process, and understanding what the public are seeing, thinking, and doing. Claire brought up, I think, for the first time, the need, which I think since the pandemic everyone's got to consider, which is to think about how you report and to tailor that reporting for the audience that you're seeing and the period of time that we live in. And Claire talked about the real-time dashboards, the slower, deeper reporting, and the weekly 5 things report. And we saw all those examples. And we saw them using data to feed into the planning process as well and to refine their strategy. So hyperlocal, using Nextdoor, this hyperlocal network, and TikTok ads for the first time as well. And I think it's really nice to know that the UK government is doing comms that's built on data, insight and testing. So Claire, thank you so much. We all really appreciated it. Camille from OECD, thank you very much, and the wonderful NFP group that we have at AMEC, and as Camille said, with Jose de Berber and Michelle Hawkins from NATO as well, a really exemplary group within the AMEC community, and we're so honoured to have you guys as members of AMEC. We saw another example of a tailored framework, the impact framework, and we talked about how important it was to understand the core audiences, adapting our reporting again, and how Camille was doing that. And I loved the smart use of data to try to get to outcomes as well. For example, the backlinks from governments to see how effective some of that comms was being. Lovely conversation with Sylvie, and Sylvie, again, thank you for the use of Notify's platform over the last 3 years and for this conference as well, talking about purpose, ESG and frameworks. And I thought we had a quote of the day when you said that the IEF is perfect. So I wrote that one down. Absolutely. It is. Purpose, ESG and frameworks. I loved you saying about the need to tear down silos to get access to data. There's so much outtake and outcome data sitting within organizations that's so frequently siloed, and it's a reminder to us all to help our clients to get to that. You talked about that impact data matters more than volumes, and I think that reflected nicely on that moving from vanity data to value data. And that proper measurement can get us closer to the C-suite, and the future is bright for PR professionals, and the future is bright for our measurement industry, of course, as well. So I thought that was a lovely chat. So thank you for that. And then, well, then Daryl. I mean, wow, what a talk. I don't know where he's gone. Is he still here? Fantastic, Daryl. Thank you so much. Refreshing and honest. Daryl was, for many years, a furious competitor of mine, and we hardly spoke a word to each other while we competed, but I'm really honoured to call him a friend today, and he is one of the most refreshing and honest people that I know. And he does write poems to his children, and I think they're available publicly sometimes. I've had the honour of them being shared with me, and I love that quote that you said, Daryl, that no such thing as failure from the poem to your kids. And I think it's right for us, but I think it's absolutely right for kids too. And I know Daryl loves his children more than life himself, even though he told us that the IEF was more precious to him than the laughter of his daughter. That's high praise, Daryl. And he often talks about having the Barcelona principles, I think, tattooed on your bottom or something. Is that right? Or somewhere you can see them, maybe. Anyway. Provoke calls you the third fastest growing agency on the planet, and I think with a presentation like that, we can see why clients love to buy from Daryl. He had the best objective that I've ever heard. I think I got it right. Sell 10,000 inebriated, sexy, frustrated alien JPEGs. You know, who's not going to want to build a framework around an objective like that? And what refreshing lessons in terms of what went wrong. I think the importance of proper research up front, I think it's something that we all forget. It's a core part of the framework, but it frequently gets missed, is do that research, do that benchmarking, really understand as much as you can before you start to do the work. So as Daryl called it, DYOR, do your own research. But then test those assumptions that you come to before you start. Test, fail, and learn quickly. What works, double down on it. And I loved your point about using the framework as a live document. It isn't just a backward-looking measurement tool. It is meant to help you with your planning, but it's also meant to help you in real time. And so we all need to do more, or remember, I think in this uncertain world, wagged me, have I said that right? Wagged me. We're all going to make it. And I think we are. I think for our industry, we can stand here today at the end of day one, happy, proud and confident of the future. But I think most of all, thank you, Jonna, for putting on an incredible day's content. I hope I've summarised it reasonably. I hope I've jogged a few memories. And it's been great, and I look forward to tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. What an amazing recap, as you always do. So thank you so much for that. That's amazing.